Welcome. In this video, we'll be looking at the table and tab function within SmartPOS. Tables and tabs are simply a facility where you can ring up items and then pay for these items at a later time. This would be used in a table service environment where diners would sit down, you can enter the items onto the table, and then when they leave, they can pay for those items. Additionally, you can use it in a bar tab environment where people drinking can ring up a tab and then pay for this tab at a later time. SmartPOS can support many different types of table configurations and tab configurations. In this video, we'll be looking at a few of them. On the standard SmartPOS till layout, there is a button called Table. This gives you access to the table service functionality. Your tills may be customized, and this button may be in a different location or called something different. Or you may have bar tab keys or some other key that is utilizing the table functionality within SmartPOS for some other purpose. Okay, let's have a quick look at how we use the table service button. The first way to use this key is simply press it once. When I do this, I get a list of all the currently open tables for this till. You'll see at the moment I have no tables open. To open a table, I have a button in the middle down the bottom called New Table. If I click on this once, the system will invite me to enter the table number that I wish to open. I'll open table number 1, and you'll see immediately down the bottom the function keys have changed to be functions that are pertaining directly to a table. Up the top left hand corner, it shows me the table number, the seat number, and any name that I've configured for this table. At this point, I can simply add the products that I wish to sell on this table. You'll see that as I add the products, they'll appear in the list as usual. At this point, my main option would be to select the table save. When I do this, the products on this table will immediately be sold and deducted from inventory. Additionally, these products will be attributed to this table that I can recall later. Also, once I hit the table save, if any of these products are configured to print to a remote printer, maybe in the kitchen or in a remote bar, they will also be printed at this time. Now my till is free to do other types of transactions. I can do other table accounts, or I can just do cash sales. If I click on the table button again, you'll see now that I have an entry for table number 1 in the list. You'll see that it shows me the table number 1, the current balance, the time that has been seated, which is 3 minutes and 5 seconds, the number of guests, which is 0 because the system wasn't configured to ask me the number of guests seated. It shows me the status that is seated and a name that can be attributed to this table. At the lower part of the screen, you'll see that I can print any table by simply highlighting it and clicking the print key. Alternatively, I can also print a list of all the open tables that are in my venue. At this point, if I wish to reopen this table, I have a few options. One option is to highlight the table I wish to open and click the select button. When I do this, you'll see that I am returned into the table. The previously sold products on the table are still on the screen, but they are highlighted in light green, telling me that these products have been sold previously. At this point, I can add more products to this table. You'll see that as I add these products, they come up in black and they add to the balance at the bottom. Once again now, I can hit the table save and these new products will be deducted from inventory and printed in any remote printer. Another way of recalling an existing table or opening a new table is simply enter the table number first and then hit the table key. If I go 1 and hit the table key, you'll see that it's a quick way of recalling this table. Another way of printing a table's bill is simply click the print key immediately after opening the table. Now at this point, I wish to pay this table off. The guest wishes to pay $50 in cash. I'll simply use the $50 fast tender key, click on OK, and the system will prompt me whether I wish to close this table. This is an optional prompt depending on your system configuration. Typically, you would select yes, which tells the system to close the table and give any change that is due. If I did select no, the table would have been left open and any change would have become a credit balance on that table. If I now click on the table button once more, you'll see that table number 1 has been removed from the list as it is fully closed and paid for. Okay, another feature of the BPOS till is to show the tables in your system in a graphical layout. In the back office software, you can create a table map that represents all the tables on your venue. So then when we click the table key, it will show this table map rather than the table list. I have reconfigured this till to show the graphical table map. So now when I hit the table key, you'll see that I'm presented with a map of all the tables that are in my venue. I can have multiple maps, and these can be for different floors of my venue or for different times of the day when I wish to reconfigure the tables in my venue. To open the table, I can simply click on it. If I click on the table number 1, you'll see that it presents me with the table screen just like I did before. If I add a few products and save the table and go back into the table map, you'll see now that the color of that table has changed to light blue, telling me that that table is currently being seated and the balance is $37. You'll see in the bottom right hand corner there is a legend explaining all the colors and the different table states. In your system, these colors may vary and you may have more or less available table states. Okay, how about we leave the graphical table map and then I'll reconfigure the system to use the normal table list again, and we'll carry on with some of the other functions of the tables. Let's now open another table and see some of the other options available to us when we're in table accounts. I'll click To and Table, and you'll see that the system has automatically opened table number 2 for me. As we've already seen, the system can track a table name and the number of guests that are at this table. We can manually enter this information using the Name and Guests key on the keyboard. If I click this, the system will firstly ask me to enter in a guest name. Then it will ask me to enter the guest count. Once I save this table and I go into the table list, you'll see that those entries are now listed against this table. This will also be reported in the back office. You can also configure your system to automatically prompt you to enter the guest name and the guest count whenever you open a new table. We'll quickly set this up in this database and we'll see how this looks. Okay, I've now configured the till to prompt me for the guest name and guest count. When I go 3 and Table, which is a new table, you'll see that the system has automatically prompted me for the guest name. This will only prompt me the once when I first open this table. Once I have entered this information, I can then proceed to enter items as usual. You'll see once again that once I go into the table list, this information is being displayed. Let's open table number 3 and look at some of the other functions available to me. Firstly, in a restaurant environment, if you are printing to the kitchen, and when you print the products to the kitchen, they are grouped by entree, main and dessert, you may wish for some entrees to print with the mains, meaning that it is not an entree, it is actually being eaten as a main. In this case, you would use the Print with Mains key. To use this, you would simply firstly ring up the entree, and with that entree highlighted, simply click on the Print with Mains button. You'll see now that the barbecue octopus will now print and report as mains. Now, when I click on the table save, that product will now print into the kitchen as a main. Let's go back into table number 3 and look at some of the other options that we can do. Another common function is the table away function. This will simply print a table away message to all remote printers. After opening the table, I simply click the table away key, and now that message has been sent to all the remote printers in the system for this table. Going back into table number 3, the next one is table walkout. If you have a situation where a customer does not pay but walks out, you can finalize this table using the table walkout function. If I click on this, I must enter a manager override, and you'll see now that the table has been lost at $37.50. The products on this table will still be reported in the back office as being sold and the stock deducted, but no cash or any other payment has been received for this table. Okay, let's go back into table number 2, add a couple of products to it, and I'll save it. Now, once I reopen it, what I wish to do is do a table transfer from table number 2 to table number 5. This is because the people on table number 2 wish to move closer to a window or some other reason. To do this, I simply hit the table transfer key. It prompts me to enter the new table number, and when I click on 5, it will ask me to confirm that I wish to proceed and whether I wish to print a message to the kitchen. This is to warn the kitchen that now the food must go to a different table. Once I do this, now that table has been transferred to table number 5. Going into the table list, you'll see that I only have one entry in there of table number 5. And remember, you can also transfer a table to an existing table, meaning that 2 tables will merge together. This would have been the case if table number 5 was already open and had products on it. The number 2 table products would also then be added to the table number 5. As mentioned before, the table functionality can also be used for bar tabs and even functions. In these circumstances, you may wish to put a limit on how much can be charged to either the bar tab or the function. If I open a new table, and once I'm in the table number 4, which is a function for me, I can use the table limit button. Once I click this, I can type in a limit. I'll just use $50 for the moment. Now the system will warn me whenever I get to this $50 limit. I'll ring up a few products. Then I'll save the table. I'll go back into the table, which is how it would happen in real life. And then when I attempt to sell a product that will take the table over the preset limit, the system will stop me and it will prompt me to either enter a manager override to authorize this, or I can select the no, which will stop that product being sold and keep the table underneath the limit. If I attempt to sell the product again, and this time I select yes and type in a valid manager's override number, you'll see that the system will allow the table to go over the limit. I can now set a new limit if I wish. The last function we'll look at in this video is the account transfer. This will associate this table to an account in the BPOS system. This could be used for any number of reasons. Maybe the account gets a special pricing, or they earn bonus points, or you may wish to charge the table directly to the account. To do an account transfer when you're in a table, you have a couple of options. Firstly, if the account has a magnetic card, you can simply swipe the card at the till. This will recall the account and associate this table to the account. Alternatively, we can click on the account transfer key and this will give me the standard account list that's at the till. Or I could easily hit the enter number key and enter the number of the account. In this case, I'll recall account number 1. You'll see that the table has been repriced and saved automatically. You'll see that the balance has now changed to $47.25. If I recall this table, you'll see the new prices are shown plus the member's discount. At this point, I can pay this table off either using cash or a credit card, or if I go into the payment button, I can then do account charge. And you'll see now that this table has not only been repriced to this account, it's also been charged to the account. This has been an overview of the tables and tab functionality in BPOS. Just remember that your system may be customized and your tables and tabs may work slightly different to this video.